How many residents should one caregiver be expected to care for in an assisted living? Today we're going to talk about 3 components that will impact the ratio of caregivers to residents in a community. The first one is the care level of the resident. The second one is the skill level of the caregiver. And the last is, what extra responsibilities are the caregivers expected to do in the assisted living? So let's start out with the care level of the resident. So in assisted livings, really the residents, when they move in, they're supposed to be able to take care of several things themselves, but as they age in place, their care needs change. So when you're looking into an assisted living, you need to find out what is their thoughts about that change in the care level of the resident. So first off, if the person were to change to a certain amount, and maybe let's say were to need full care by 2 caregivers, the caregivers had to lift them up and put them into a wheelchair to move them around, or fully needed to help them to move around in the bed, most assisted livings are going to actually ask that the resident be transitioned to the next level of care, which is the long-term care center, or i.e. a nursing home. So if that's what a community will tell you, if that's what an assisted living will say, is that they're going to transition them to the next level, okay. But let's say they say that no, the person can stay in the community forever, through the entire process of ending up being bedridden and passing. Now, there's an important question that should be asked. What is that community going to do in regards to the care that's now needed? Are they going to change the cost, or what's going to happen with that? And quite a few assisted livings now do care level costs, so they will then charge that family or that resident more money because their care need has increased. Okay. The other item, though, is that if you think about this, if a building is allowing residents to really get to the point where they're bedbound, how many residents are they going to allow to be like that at one time in the assisted living? Would it be okay for 50% of the building to be that way? And how would they coordinate care for that? Now, a little secret in regards to care level costs. When a resident is charged based on care level costs, that means as their care increases, the cost changes, it goes up. Now, if that same community that does care level costs is also saying that you can keep your loved one there all the way through the process, you need to ask them this question. When they get to a certain level, are you going to add more staff? And the reason why you want to ask that is because really the behind the scenes about that care level cost is that, of course, the community is receiving more money now that your loved one needs more care. So what that cost technically should allow for is that at a certain time frame, when there's enough residents that are paying this extra cost, another caregiver should be brought in onto that shift so that the care across the whole building can be done successfully. I haven't seen that always happen, though, as an administrator. Quite often that the corporate level, that wasn't what was going to happen. Now, if there were enough people with really, really, really high care needs, then maybe one person might be brought in. But quite often, nothing changed, and so the caregivers were just expected to take care of more people with more care needs. 2 things that happens with that. It makes for poor care, and it makes for upset caregivers. So it's really important to ask that question to determine really what the assisted living is going to do as someone needs more care. In regards to skill level of the employees, of the caregivers, In the state of Tennessee, caregivers in assisted livings do not have to be certified. They do not have to be CNAs or certified nursing assistants. Yet, if an assisted living is allowing their residents to have more and more care needs in the building, and technically that's kind of their right to be able to do, I guess, but if they're doing that and they're not either hiring on properly trained people and paying them appropriately, or adding more training and keeping up with that training, it's just creating an environment that's not going to work, because those residents need more care and the staff haven't been trained to properly do it. The last avenue that I want to talk to you about, what other assignments do the caregivers have? What other things do the caregivers have to do? So are they expected to go in and serve in the dining room during lunchtime or breakfast or dinner? Are they expected to be the housekeeper? Or are there separate departments? Housekeeping department with its own staff, dining department with its own staff of servers and everything. So obviously what that allows is, if the caregivers are not doing loads of other primary responsibilities like housekeeping or serving in the dining room, they have more time and ability to provide care to the residents. So those are the three main items, not all inclusive, but the three main items that definitely will impact the caregiver to resident ratio in an assisted living. So make sure you ask that question about care. What are they going to do when a person needs more care? Secondly, what is the skill level of the staff? And then lastly, are the caregivers responsible to do other big tasks too, like the weekly deep cleaning and housekeeping, or serving every day in the dining room at mealtime? Those are some tips for today. I hope you found those helpful. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.